So if you're finding that you're playing the same stuff over and over again and you're looking for new ideas, watch this video for a great saxophone practice routine that's going to boost your saxophone technique. Hi, I'm Donna from DonnaSchwartzMusic.com, the site to boost your playing up to the next level. Now, I'm going to share a practice routine that's been around for quite a while, and it's actually been around at the Eastman School of Music for quite a while and shared amongst many great professional players all over the world. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to be sharing the Eastman saxophone practice routine. Now, how did I find out about this? It actually is it's in one of the forum posts for an amazing resource for saxophone players. It's Sax on the Web. They have their own forum, saxontheweb.net. I'll be sharing the link to this Eastman practice routine in the description below. Now, what's different about this practice routine, it's definitely based on technique. So it's not going to deal with your tone. Okay, that's something else. It's definitely going to deal with your technique and boosting it, but it's not written music. All right, it has to deal with scale degrees. So one of the prerequisites for doing this is that you really have to know your scales. All right, this will help you certainly know your scales a lot better, but you need to know, for example, if you're in the key of C, C is going to be scale degree 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, etc. You're going to definitely need to do that in order to succeed with this practice routine. Let me share that sheet with you right now. Okay, so I'm here on the Sax on the Web forum, forum.saxontheweb.net. If you haven't subscribed, do it. All right, it's a great forum. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of posts, probably hundreds of thousands at this point. The forum's been around for a very long time. A lot of great information there for all levels of saxophone players, not just beginners, not just pros. It's everybody. And you've got some great pros in there sharing a lot of tips, strategies, and ideas. So this particular post, and again, I'll share the link in the show notes below, although it will not work for you if you're not a member of Sax on the Web. So it's Eastman Saxophone Practice Routine. And here there's some websites here of the person that actually shared this, Rob Hart. And basically he's saying, at Eastman, Rob tells me you'd be asked to run all these over a particular key. You wouldn't know which one over and over again. And these were scales that you're supposed to know by that time. One semester would be all the major scales. Then maybe next semester would be harmonic minor, melodic minor, etc. Play each pattern the full range of the horn, ascending and descending. So you see here, there's no notes. Okay, there's just numbers. Now, I'm going to give you some tips on how to approach each one here. So pattern number 1, it's a 4-note pattern, a 4-note cell, whatever you want to call it. 1, 3, 5, 7. So if I'm in the key of C, what's the 1, what's the 3, what's the 5, what's the 7? And that's what I would play. And then the way they write it out here, I have a different way of thinking of this, so I'm going to share that in a second. The next pattern is 2, 4, 6, 8. So what's happening is you're building a 4-note cell based upon each scale degree. Starting on the 1, you're building a 7th chord. On the 2, you're building a 7th chord in that key. On the 3, you're building a 7th chord in that key, etc. Going all the way up, full range of the horn, ascending and then descending. All right, so you could think this way. Well, let me get my pitch. 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay, you notice how I'm singing it first? All right. So you can do that and you could think these numbers all the way through. Now this pattern is not only going up, it's also going down, but it's not the 4-note cell is not descending. Instead, you're keeping this upward motion of the pattern as you go down the scale degrees. Let me show you what I'm talking about. you're going through, the range of the horn, what you can play. And again, that pattern is an up pattern, but going up the scale degrees and down the scale degrees. Now, here's the way I think of this, because this can be really confusing at first, all right? Especially if you're in like a wacky key like F sharp or something like that. I tend to use this 1-3-5-7. I think that the entire way through. So I know my scale degrees. I'm going to form a 1-3-5-7 or a seventh chord on each scale degree. That's the way I think of it. So I'm thinking C, E, G, B. Then I'm starting on D. I'm thinking 1-3-5-7, starting on the D. 1-3-5-7 D, F, A, C. And I'm thinking the same thing on the E. I don't want to be thinking about all these other types of numbers here. All right. Now you can, absolutely. And that's essentially what's coming out. But when I'm approaching this, I'm taking this as a 4-note cell, and I'm basically starting it on each note of each scale degree of the scale. Now I'm going to give you a practice tip for this. Now I didn't play this with a metronome right now. I just wanted to show it, but you absolutely, positively must use a metronome. Okay, you got to use a metronome. I'm going to recommend Tonal Energy. It's called Tonal Energy Tuner app, and it's a metronome and a tuner, and it's unbelievable. All right, this is a fantastic app. I am not an affiliate for it. Okay, it does work on Android and iOS, so definitely check it out. So I would definitely set the metronome super slow, but I'm going to give you a super bonus tip here. I would not even put the metronome on for my first step of doing this. Here's what I would do. I would sit here and I would figure out this pattern throughout the range of my horn without blowing a note. All right. So I would think to myself, okay, what's this pattern going to be? I would sing it and I would finger it. And I would sing it and finger it out of time, meaning that I'm not going to use a metronome. I'm just thinking this through, and I'm just getting my fingers, using muscle memory, and just getting my fingers to know where they're going. Then when I'm ready, then I'm going to play it with the metronome really slow at like 60. Now, your question to me may be, do I slur the whole thing? Do I tongue the whole thing? What do I do? You do whatever you want. All right. I usually slur it. All right. And I was illustrating the 4-note cells, so I was slurring each 4 notes. That's one way you could do it too, to kind of comprehend this and get it in your brain and get it in your fingers. It's also a great way. I noticed on one of mine, when I went from F to A, I had a little bit of a blip in the sound, so my fingers didn't coordinate as well as I'd like to. It's also a great way to check yourself. And you're playing through these exercises, you're thinking, this is really making you think about your scale and the chords that form on each note, but it's also making you think about, okay, I've got to get more coordinated with certain combinations of notes. All right. So that's the first pattern. The second pattern is the same idea. All right. 4-note cell, except I'm doing this 7th chord backwards. So the second pattern is very similar in idea to the first, and you're just going down the 7th chord sequence, but each cell is going down in direction, but you're going up the scale. little bit of a blip there, a little bit of a mistake there. Okay, and you've got to totally concentrate throughout this, and because if you let your mind wander for a second, you're going to forget where you are. All right, that's another bonus tip for you. All right, third pattern is a combination of patterns 1 and 2. Go up, and then you're going up the 7th chord and then down the second 7th chord, going up the 7th chord, down the next one, like this. And it would continue on and on. All right. The fourth pattern is like the third pattern, except you're starting on the descending 7th chord and then going up the ascending chord for the next scale pattern, like this. Etc. All right, pattern 5. This one's a cool one. So now we've got an 8-note cell here. So what's happening is we're going up the 7th chord, down a scale, up the 7th chord, down a scale, up the 7th chord, down the scale. Let me show a little bit of this one. So you see how this pattern, I showed it ascending and a little bit descending as well. So you get the idea with that. The 6th pattern is your typical thirds. Ba da 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 da, going all the way up and all the way down. I don't really need to show that. That one's pretty obvious. Along with pattern number 7, that's in fourths. Pitch. Ba da 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 da. That one may take a little bit of work, but that one's pretty self-explanatory. So is the patterns number 8 and 9. So here, these are cells of 3. These were cells of 2. These were cells of 4. These are cells of 3. So you're going to think in a triple meter for this. So what I would suggest, put the metronome a little slower, but this is basically your basic arpeggio, your 1-3-5, okay? No sevenths involved in this at all. So again, ba da 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 da. All right, keeping this nice and steady, definitely using a metronome for this. 8 and 9, they're all triplets. Arpeggios going up, arpeggios going down. Okay, now here's where we start to get to some of the fun stuff. These are the patterns. I give these patterns to my students all the time, and these are the ones that mess everybody up. Patterns 10 and 11. So the way he explains it, it's an ascending triad, the 1-3-5, but there's a leading tone to the root. Okay, so this is all going in an up direction. All right, let me show you without the metronome really slow what this is. So this one's going to take some thinking through. Here's how, again, I would definitely approach this one. I would sit there, I would figure out each cell and finger it a gazillion times. All right, and actually for this one, I'm going to give you another tip. Break this down even further. So take the first 4 notes, 7, 1, 3, 5, finger it, and then only play those 4 notes. Then you figure out the next cell. Sharp 1, 2, 4, 6. Ba-da-da. Finger it a million times. Then when your fingers are comfortable, then play it. And then combine the first two cells together. Okay, and then you add the third one, do it alone, then combine it with the first two. You get the idea? All right, so will it take you a long time to practice this? Yes, but here's the trick. Here's the secret sauce thing. Once you do this in one key, and I know it's going to feel like torture to do this, once you do this in one key, you're going to notice that a lot of these patterns are going to be the same in many other keys. All right, the patterns are going to be the same in keys that have key signatures that are pretty close. All right, so just a little secret sauce tip for you right there. All right, the 11th pattern. Let me explain this one. So these are descending triads. Okay, let me just get my pitch. So here's a descending triad, but I've got a leading tone going up to it. So this whole cell is not going, it's not going down, it's going up, then down. Do you see how this could be great vocabulary right here? Okay, just a little tip for you. All right, so again, I would take the first cell, figure it out, finger it a million times, then play it. Then keep adding each cell after that. So it'll sound something like this. Etc. You get the idea, right? Okay, cool. Now the 12th and the 13th patterns deal with the arpeggio, not the 7th chord, just the 1, 3, 5, starting on each scale root. But here we're going 3, 1, 3, 5, 4, 2, 4, 6, 5, 3, 5, 7. That's the 4-note cell that we're dealing with this one. And then the 13th pattern, same idea, except the direction is the other way. So instead of 3, 1, 3, 5, it's 3, 5, 3, 1, 4, 6, 4, 2, 5, 7, 5, 3. Get the idea? And there you have it. Those are the 13 patterns. Now there's some more advice on the bottom over here. And in particular, I want to point out one thing that's super important. If you practice, and I mean practice, not just playing it once and saying good enough or I have it, these patterns throughout the full range of the horn in every key, it will take a few hours to get through. All right. That's okay, because if you really want to find more vocabulary, if you want to boost your technique, these 13 patterns that was shared by Eastman graduate Rob Hart, and that's in the Sax on the Web forum. These patterns will definitely help you out. Now, if you're feeling stuck with your improvisation, and it doesn't matter what genre, it could be rock, blues, jazz, it doesn't matter. It's really important to know what stage you're at when it comes to improvisation. Why is this important? Because if you're at a particular stage and you try to hunt and peck and search for things on YouTube that are way beyond what you should be doing at that moment, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to get confused, and it's going to hold you back. It's going to set you back from making progress with your improvisation. Well, in order to help you find your stage, I've got a free quiz, and I've got the link below in the description. It'll take you maybe a minute or two, and based on your answers, we'll be able to tell you what stage you're at when it comes to improvisation. And you'll also get a free video lesson with your very next best step to help you make progress. So check it out in the description below. Hey, I know this was a long one, but hopefully you bared with me and got a lot out of this. This was kind of like you were in a lesson with me, or even a practice session. All right, so if you like this video, hey, like it. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe bell. Please share this on your social media platforms. And on that note, thanks for joining me. Take care.